you for your insight there. We have some further news coming out of the United States, where Kaja Kallas has cautioned against discussions involving potential territorial concessions by Ukraine, calling such talks a trap by Russia. In an interview, Kallas has responded to recent German polling that shows public support for Ukraine is ceding territory in pursuit of peace. She has argued that entertaining such proposals aligns with Russian negotiation tactics. According to Kallas, Russia's tactic unfolds in three stages. First, Russia demands territory it has never previously controlled. Second, it issues ultimatums and threats. And then third, it encourages voices in the West to advocate for concessions, ultimately legitimizing those demands. This comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin signed accession treaties formalizing Russia's control over 4 occupied regions in Ukraine, those being Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporozhye, despite only partial military control in those areas. Thus, in the interview, the EU foreign policy chief has emphasized the need for closer cooperation between Europe and the United States in countering Russia. Andrew Latham joins us once again. Andrew, these 4 territories are central to these negotiations. We have seen even some of the public of Ukraine's closest allies now favouring ceding territory to Moscow in order to get a peace deal. Territory, of course, a highly contentious topic. How do you see this budging, if at all, on the diplomatic front?
I think the European public, if not the European leadership, is coming to its senses here. Ukraine is not going to win this war. It's not going to recapture the territories that Russia currently occupies, certainly not Crimea, but also not parts of the Donbass. It's just not going to happen. Once upon a time, both European leaders and the European people were willing to fight to the last Ukrainian. Now, only the European leadership class is willing to fight to the last Ukrainian. The European people, German polling data is quite clear on this, are willing to take the bait, if I can put it that way, to continue with the trap analogy, are willing to take the bait offered by President Putin, some kind of ceasefire, if not permanent peace. That would reduce all kinds of pressures on Europe, financial, geopolitical, and otherwise. Her concern, the EU foreign equivalent of foreign minister, her concern is that this is in fact a trap, that if European people, and indirectly then the European leadership, are gulled into this, accept the bait, take the bait, that the trap will be that Russia gets what it wants, which is full control of these 4 oblasts, that it will reward aggression, which is a violation of a profound international relations principle, and that it will, and this has been under discussed, I think, it will bypass the ring of fortifications, both fortified cities and other fortifications that Ukraine has put in place. They'll be completely bypassed, and the territory beyond that ring of fortifications lends itself to the kinds of warfare that Russians like to prosecute. So it really would hamstring, on an operational level, hamstring Ukraine. But here's what makes it a trap: the bait is very attractive to the European population at large, and they're putting pressure on their leadership class. And I think they're going to take the bait. Whether the trap is actually as bad as some people make it out to be, that remains to be seen. In the literature, and I'll end on this note, in the literature, some people liken what's going on in Ukraine to what went on in Korea in the 1950s. And I would remind your viewers that that conflict came to an end in the form of a ceasefire, a temporary ceasefire, that has now lasted for 70 plus years. There's no peace treaty. The United States is still technically at war with North Korea, but there has been a ceasefire.
Kill the radio!
There has been a ceasefire that people at the time thought was going to be quite temporary, and that was giving in to aggression on the part of North Korea, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There has been a kind of peace on that peninsula now for almost a century, certainly 70 plus years. If Ukraine could pull that off in the context of this conflict, that might be the least bad outcome for Kyiv.
Yes, Andrew Latham, thank you very much for joining us. Apologies to our viewers for the technical issues there. We now move on. We stay in Europe, where Polish citizens are flocking